Friends, I welcome you to CA Intermediate New Syllabus Cost and Management Accounting subject. We are here for a quick revision batch. Please remember, it is only a quick revision. That is the sort of revision which you have to do just before the exam. You can say a day before the exam you can do it. And today is our day 1, that is lecture 1. I'll try to cover the whole portion and I'll try to quickly revise it in few days. So today is day 1. Let me introduce myself in brief. I am CA Rakesh Agrawal and I am the gold medalist in Cost and Management Accounting subject from Pune University. The important instructions for the first day. This batch is specially designed for the students of my regular batch. Please remember, the students who have attended my regular batch earlier will be benefited the most by this quick revision batch. As it is a quick revision batch, please do not waste your time in writing, but focus your attention only on revising. Because I will be just touching the points, I won't be solving the questions in the quick revision batch. But we will try to revise the concepts basically. So you don't have to write much. The printed notes of your regular batch are already containing everything. So it already contains everything what I am going to discuss here. So you don't have to write much. At the most you can keep pen and paper or calculator, may be required only at few places. So you may keep it ready, but not much to write. More to listen and more to grasp. We will do the revision in the same sequence in which I taught you in the regular batch. So the sequence which I had followed while teaching in my regular batch will be followed here also in this quick revision batch. So let's start with the same sequence. So I'll first touch our chapter 1, that is basic cost concepts. Some of you may remember we had discussed cost is the monetary value of all sacrifices made to achieve an objective. Cost is the monetary value of all sacrifices made to achieve an objective. And then those sacrifices were also called as elements of cost, and we had divided the cost into 3 elements. Right? So in this chapter we will revise the concepts of prime cost and overheads. We will also revise the format of cost sheet in this chapter. Let's begin. The elements of cost which I was just discussing. Right? The cost is divided in 3 elements known as 3 sacrifices, that is material cost, labor cost and expenses. Friends, we are talking about a manufacturing company predominantly. So while discussing costing, the stress is on a manufacturer, not a trader, please remember. So in a manufacturing company, you need some input raw material to manufacture the finished goods. All this input which goes into manufacturing process is called material cost. Then you need manpower, that is human beings to work in your factory. And to the human beings we pay in the form of salaries and wages. That cost is called as labor cost. And remaining all, other than material and labor, remaining all is called expenses. It could be electricity, it could be depreciation of your equipments, it could be rent of the premises, and all other things will get included in expenses. So the cost finally gets divided in 3 parts from the point of view of a manufacturer, either material cost or labor cost or expenses. And if we add 3 of them, you will get total cost. So these are 3 elements of cost: material, labor and expenses. Now each of these 3 elements will further get divided in 2 parts. Like material cost gets divided in 2 parts: direct material and indirect material. Now what is the difference between these two, direct and indirect? all costs which can be directly associated with the product which you are manufacturing can be called as direct cost, and all other costs which you cannot associate one to one with the product which you are manufacturing, but that cost is required, that cost is incurred, then we call it as indirect material cost, or any cost, such cost is called indirect cost. Now in material cost, the material which you can identify with the product itself, that in manufacturing of this product, this material must have gone, you can call all that material cost as direct material. But there are variety of other materials required to run the machinery. It could be even oil and grease required to run the machine, but that oil and grease doesn't form part of the product. So there is no one-to-one association of oil and grease with the product which you are manufacturing. I am saying oil and grease required to run the machine. Then such materials will be called as indirect material. So a material cost which you can identify on one-to-one basis with the product is direct material, which you cannot identify on one-to-one basis with the product is indirect material. Similarly, labor cost gets also divided in two parts, direct labor and indirect labor. Labor is a manpower cost. So the human efforts, if you can identify that this much time has been worked on a particular product, and along with that labor time you can associate the cost also. Like a worker has spent 2 hours on manufacture of a particular product, and that worker is paid at the rate of 100 per hour. It means for 2 hours you will pay 200 rupees, and you can associate these 200 rupees with that product. Then that cost will be direct labor cost. It means the cost which can be directly associated with the product. However, there is a supervisor who is getting the work done from all the workers. He is issuing the instructions to the workers, he is checking the quality of the goods produced by the workers. So that supervisor, his salaries and wages you cannot correlate on one-to-one basis with the product which you are manufacturing. Then supervisor's salary for an organization will be called as indirect labor cost. So it is just the association of cost with the cost object. Cost object means the product which you are manufacturing. If you can associate the cost with the cost object, then it is direct cost. If you cannot associate it directly with the cost object, then it is indirect cost. And expenses. Expenses can also be divided on the similar basis as direct expenses and indirect expenses. But in reality, we experience that most of the expenses are indirect in nature. Please remember, most of the expenses are indirect in nature. It means there are very few items of direct expenses. Direct expenses are very few. Majority of the expenses are indirect. But let us take an example of direct expense. For example, if you are paying a royalty on manufacture of a product, which can be associated with each product, that you manufacture one product and you have to pay the royalty to the person who is holding the intellectual property right. So that royalty payable on each product manufactured could be called as direct expenses, right? Because royalty cannot be in labor, the royalty cannot be direct material. So it has to be direct expenses. Or if you are getting part of the work done from an outside agency, like a product requires some packing, assembling and packing, and that work you have given to an outside agency, and you are paying some X amount to outside agency for that work of assembly and packing, and that amount which you are paying can be associated with each product. So then you can call it as direct expenses. But most of the expenses tends to be indirect in nature. It could be electricity, it could be rent, it could be depreciation, it could be repairs, maintenance, and so on. So majority of the expenses tends to be indirect in nature. Now total of all the direct cost is called as prime cost. That is direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses together is called as prime cost. So direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses is equal to prime cost. It means prime cost is a substitute word for all direct cost. Similarly, all indirect cost together is called as overheads. So indirect material plus indirect labor plus indirect expenses together can be called as overheads. So prime cost is direct cost, overheads is indirect cost. Now friends, in real life, people generally call 3 elements of cost as material, labor and overheads in practical life. Now what does that mean? When people say material, please remember they intend to say direct material. When people say labor cost, they intend to say direct labor. As I said, direct expenses are very few, so people have dropped this item generally in real life. And therefore, generally you will find people say direct material plus direct labor is equal to prime cost. Means they have ignored direct expenses. And third element they say as overheads, because overheads consist of all the three indirect costs together. So in real world, the three elements of cost is called as material, that is direct material, labor, that is direct labor, and overheads, that is all indirect cost together. This is how people call practical three elements of cost. But technically, the three elements of cost are material, labor, and expenses, and this is the classification. Now, we will go to a little classification or expansion of this overheads, that is indirect cost will further classify. So overheads are further classified for the purpose of presentation of cost in three parts. Overheads gets divided in three parts. You are able to remember probably: factory overheads, administration overheads, and selling and distribution overheads. That is the classification of overheads. Factory overheads. Factory overheads has got various names like works overheads, production overheads, manufacturing overheads. All are the substitute words for factory overheads. The moment I say overheads, first of all, it is an indirect cost. So what could be the indirect cost for which will be called as factory overheads? Factory overheads are all those indirect costs which are related to manufacturing. Now, electricity consumed for running the machine could be an example of factory overheads. Rent of the factory premises could be an example of factory overheads. Production manager's salary could be an example of factory overheads. Repairs and maintenance of plant and machinery, depreciation of plant and machinery could be an example of factory overheads. The supervisor who is getting the work done from workers could be an example of factory overheads. All other miscellaneous items which gets consumed in the manufacturing process, that is indirect material, getting consumed in the process of manufacture but not forming directly the part of your finished product. All such material could also be called as indirect material required in manufacturing, that is factory overheads. So any indirect material, any indirect labor, any indirect expenses required for manufacturing activity is factory overheads. Second is administration overheads. Administration overheads is also known as office overheads. That is another substitute word for office overheads. All administrative cost, that is administrative staff salary, rent of the office, electricity consumed, depreciation of your computers, ACs which are installed in the offices, right? Your stationery, printing, telephone expenses, all these may be called as administration overheads. And third one is selling and distribution overheads. That is basically your marketing cost. So selling is basically marketing cost, the cost incurred to generate the demand. And distribution overheads is the cost incurred to satisfy the demand. Once the demand is generated, you need to satisfy the demand. Means you have to see to it that the goods are distributed to the customers. For that you should have the whole chain of activities, the wholesalers and the retailers and so on. And you need to transport the goods from your factory to till the customers. So all these expenses will be distribution. So selling cost is the cost incurred to generate the demand, and distribution overheads is the cost incurred to satisfy the demand. So all indirect costs are divided in three parts: factory overheads, administration, and selling and distribution overheads. Now using this classification of cost, we call it as classification of cost. We first classified the total cost in three parts: material, labor, expenses. Each of them we further classified into direct and indirect. And indirect cost, that is overheads, we further classified in three parts, that is factory, administration, and selling and distribution overheads. With this classification of cost, we can prepare a simple cost sheet, because the cost data is presented in a cost sheet format, and all of you may be able to recollect this cost sheet format. Let us say particulars and rupees. If you are preparing a cost sheet for an organization, you can prepare the cost sheet for the whole organization, you can prepare it for a particular department, you can prepare a cost sheet for a particular product also, right? You can do it the way you like. So first is the direct material in the cost sheet, next is direct labor, and then direct expenses, which we had already seen. So direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses together. It's called as prime cost. In this prime cost, we will add factory overheads and we will get factory cost. Please remember, factory overheads and works overheads means one and the same. Now, I have seen students generally confusing between factory cost and factory overheads. Please remember, in prime cost, if we add factory overheads, we get factory cost. Factory overheads is just one of the indirect cost, one of the overheads. And prime cost plus factory overheads is your factory cost. So factory overheads is not equal to factory cost, but prime cost plus factory overheads is equal to factory cost. Then we add administration overheads to it. We get cost of production. In cost of production, we add selling and distribution overheads and we get cost of sales. In cost of sales, we add profit and we get sales. This is a very simple way of preparation of cost sheet. Now, in this cost sheet, we need to make some more adjustments, and these are called stock adjustments or inventory adjustments. In a manufacturing company, there are three types of stocks. One is the stock of raw material, another is the stock of work in progress. That is the goods which are neither in the form of raw material nor in the form of finished goods. That is the work which is going on, work in progress. And third is the stock of finished goods. So for a manufacturer, we may have three types of inventories, that is raw material, work in progress and finished goods. And each of these inventories we can further classify as opening stock and closing stock. Opening stock at the beginning of the period and closing stock at the end of the period. So we'll have to make 6 stock adjustments in this cost sheet, that is opening stock of raw material, closing stock of raw material, opening stock of work in progress, closing stock of work in progress, opening stock of finished goods and closing stock of finished goods. And if we adjust these 6 items in the cost sheet, we will get the standard cost sheet format with stock adjustment. Please remember, this format is most commonly used everywhere in the industry. And even in CA, ICW or other courses, this standard cost sheet format is used with stock adjustment. This format is also useful for your cost ledger accounting topic also. So we go once again, the earlier cost sheet with 6 more stock adjustments, and we will reach to cost sheet with stock adjustment. I will once again take direct material. Now please remember, though we just say direct material, it is by default direct material consumed. People don't write this word. Even people don't write the word direct. People just say material cost. But material cost here means direct material cost, because indirect material cost has gone in overheads. So direct material consumed we have to take. Now to calculate the material consumed in production, what we have to do? Check. We have to take opening stock of raw material with us. In opening stock, we have to add purchase of raw material. Now opening stock of raw material plus purchases minus the stock which is lying in the closing stock. It means the stock which is not consumed. Now logically, you had some stock of opening raw material plus you purchase something more. From that you have to deduct which is not consumed. Not consumed means it is a closing stock. If you deduct the material which is not consumed, the remaining material is consumed, and that remaining material consumed will go to the outer column, and this is direct material consumed. Right? So we have done one stock adjustment, opening and closing stock of raw material, to get a consumption of raw material. Then we add direct labor to it, we add direct expenses to it, and we will once again get prime cost. In prime cost, we will first add factory overheads, also known as works overheads, and we will get gross factory cost. Friends, we will call this cost as gross factory cost. It is the total factory cost incurred during a particular period in that organization. If you are preparing the cost sheet for the whole organization, it is the factory cost incurred for that organization during that period. Let us say the period is 1 year. To this we have to do 2 more adjustments. Add opening work in progress less closing work in progress. So in gross factory cost, we add the opening work in progress. That is the work which was started last year, but which was incomplete. So that incomplete work cost will be carried from last year to this year, and it will get added in the current cost. And you have to deduct less closing WIP. So we have to add opening WIP which is carried from last year, and we have to deduct the work which is not yet finished. So we have to value that work in progress, the work which is not yet complete at the end of the year. The cost incurred on this work in progress at the end of the year we will deduct from here, and this cost will get now carried to the next year. So this closing WIP will become next year's opening WIP here, right? Because that work will get completed in the next year. Now why we are doing this adjustment? We are removing the closing work so that we get the remaining cost of finished work. So by doing these two adjustments, add opening WIP and less closing WIP, we will now get the net factory cost. But this factory cost is only of finished goods now. Now why we get the factory cost of only finished goods now? Because we have already deducted the closing WIP. It means the cost incurred, but the goods are not yet finished. That cost we have deducted from the current year's cost, and this cost is carried to next year. So remaining cost is now the cost of only related to finished goods. So you'll get the cost of finished goods only. We call it as net factory cost of finished goods. To this we add administration overheads. Now this administration overheads is little a tricky matter, and there are differences of opinion between different people. But in the standard cost sheet format, you will find that in net factory cost of finished goods we add administration overheads. It means the burden of administration overheads is borne only by finished goods and not by work in progress. And after adding the administration overheads, we get cost of production. Naturally, this cost of production is also of finished goods only. So cost of production of finished goods. Please remember, from here we get the cost of only finished goods. To this we have added administration overheads. This is also cost of finished goods, but it is called as now cost of production. So factory cost add administration overheads is your cost of production. Now we'll do two more adjustments. Add opening stock of finished goods. These are the finished goods which were produced in the last year and got carried from last year to current year. That is opening stock of finished goods, because they were not sold last year, though they were produced last year. And we will deduct the closing stock of finished goods. That is, at the end of the current year, whatever closing stock of finished goods is left, that we will deduct. Means the cost of those finished goods we will deduct, and that closing stock of finished goods will become opening stock naturally next year, because these goods will get sold in the next year. So by doing these two adjustments, that is adding opening stock of finished goods and deducting closing stock of finished goods, we get now cost of goods sold. This is the cost of finished goods which are sold. Now you can logically understand, suppose we have produced 10,000 units of finished goods in the current year. That is this cost of production of finished goods. I am assuming we have produced 10,000 units whose cost is here. Now 2,000 units were already with me, that is in the form of opening stock of finished goods. They were produced last year but carried to current year for sales. It means I have total 12,000 units available for sale. And at the end of the year, I find that in my godown there are 4,000 units which are still unsold. 4,000 units of finished goods which are unsold. So 12,000 units were available for sale, 4,000 are unsold. It means remaining how many are sold? 8,000 units are sold. So this is the cost of those 8,000 units which are sold. That is why it is called as cost of goods sold. That is the cost of those units which are sold during the current period. So this is how we have done the 6 stock adjustments step by step. Then we have to add the selling and distribution overheads to this. Cost of goods sold, add selling and distribution overheads, we will get cost of sales. In cost of sales, if we add profit, we will get naturally the sales. So let's quickly revise once again. From material, so I'll take you back again. First of all, this direct material consumed, that is opening stock of raw material, add purchases, less closing stock of raw material, please remember, and we get raw material consumed. Add direct labor, add direct expenses, we get prime cost. In prime cost, we add factory overheads, we get gross factory cost. In gross factory cost, we have to add opening WIP, deduct closing WIP, we get net factory cost of finished goods. In net factory cost, we add administration overheads, we get cost of production of finished goods. To this, we add opening stock of finished goods, we deduct closing stock of finished goods, and we get cost of goods sold. This is cost of finished goods sold. Then we add selling and distribution overheads to it, we get cost of sales, and if we add profit to it, we will get sales. This is the standard cost sheet format used at various places. That is cost sheet with stock adjustments. Now, I'll take you to a revised cost sheet format. Now, our institute, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, in the new module has come out with a revised cost sheet format, and they have added few more items of cost in the cost sheet. So let us revise this new cost sheet format or revised cost sheet format. Those are students who have studied with me around 1 year back or 1.5 or 2 years back, right? They will specially note this change in the new module of the institute. They have included one more cost sheet format. And if there is a specific question only on preparation of cost sheet, if the institute asks you a specific question only on preparation of cost sheet, you will use this format. The format is similar to standard cost sheet format, but only few more items of cost are added in it. And if you happen to visit my website, please remember the website address is here, that is www.carakeshagarwal.in. On this website, there is a tab called Student Corner, right? Tab called Student Corner. In that Student Corner, if you go to Enter CMA, you will find a PDF file which can be downloaded free of cost. In that PDF file, you will find whatever changes institute has made in the new syllabus only. I am saying in the new syllabus, earlier module to new module. New module was issued around a year back or year and a half back. In that module, whatever changes are made by the institute, I have all listed down those changes in that PDF file. This is specially for those students who have studied little long back with me, right, but have not yet cleared the exam. So they will download that file, so you will get all the changes. You will get this revised cost sheet format also there. Okay, I'll go ahead with the cost sheet format. Revised format of institute. You will use this format if there is a specific question on preparation of cost sheet only. It means all the data is readily given and you have to just prepare the cost sheet. Let's begin. It's almost similar. Particulars rupees. This direct material consumed is exactly the same. There is opening stock of raw material, add purchase of raw material, less closing stock of raw material, and outer column you will get consumption of raw material. There is no change here. Add direct labor, add direct expenses, and you will get prime cost. Absolutely same up to this. Add factory overheads, also called as works overheads. You will get gross factory cost. So no change up to this. Add opening work in progress, less closing work in progress, and you will get net factory cost of finished goods. Up to this, it is exactly same as we have discussed in standard cost sheet format. In net factory cost of finished goods, we will add administration overheads. But institute has made one change here. They are saying administration overheads only related to manufacturing activity should be added here. I repeat, administration overheads only relating to manufacturing activity should be added here. Then where the remaining administration will go, we will see. It will come later. So to net factory cost of finished goods, you will add administration overheads related to production activity. Now you will get, and you have to add some more cost, like quality control cost. See, when we produce the finished goods, after the finished goods are produced, there is a quality control department who will check the quality of the finished goods. And if they find that the quality of finished goods is proper and correct, then only they will pass on the finished goods for packing to the next department. And if they find some defect in the product, they will reject that product and it will go again for rectification of defect. So there is a quality control department who will check the quality of finished goods produced. That quality control cost is to be added here. That is their manpower, their machinery to check the quality. So quality control department's cost will get added here along with administration overheads. Administration overheads related to production. Then some research and development. If you have done some research and development to produce these finished goods, right, then the apportioned cost of research and development, that is amortized cost of research and development, will get added at this stage, right, in the net factory cost of finished goods. That is the proportionate cost of research and development, provided you have done some research and development in order to produce these products, or you have done the research on the process of manufacturing this product. Add primary packing cost. So these three new items have come up: quality control cost, research and development cost, primary packing cost. Now what is primary packing? Actually there is a primary packing and secondary packing. Primary packing is that packing which is required to preserve the quality of your finished goods. And this is the packing along with which the goods are delivered to the customer. Like when we buy medicines or tablets, capsules, you will find it comes in an aluminium strip. That aluminium strip is called primary packing. It is required to preserve the quality of goods. But if you go to a retail shop, you will find that aluminium strip, right, which that is a strip of the medicine which he gives to us. He takes it out from a small box, small let us say paper box. That paper box is secondary packing, because that is packing only for convenience of transportation and handling. And if you go to the wholesaler, you will find even such small boxes are packed in a very big corrugated box. So all other packing, remaining packing which is only meant for the convenience of material handling and transportation, is a secondary packing, which we will see later. It will get added along with selling and distribution orders. So primary packing is that packing which is required to preserve the quality of your finished product, and primary packing is that packing along with which the goods are delivered to the customer. That primary packing cost is added here. Remaining packing required for convenience of transportation, for handling purposes, is called secondary packing, which we will see later. So after adding all this, you will get, yes, one more item, less credit for scrap, byproduct or other miscellaneous income. This is to be deducted because this is revenue, this is not cost. Suppose in the process of manufacturing, we have generated certain scrap. Now we will sell that scrap and we will get some money, we will get some revenue. That revenue will be deducted from here because it will reduce our cost of production. Or in the manufacture of some main product, a byproduct has emerged, and by selling that byproduct some money is collected or received, that the realizable value of byproduct will be deducted from here, or any other such miscellaneous income. But this miscellaneous income which is generated during manufacturing process only, that is scrap generated during manufacturing process, byproducts which are produced during manufacturing process, or any other such type of miscellaneous income generated from manufacturing process, that revenue is deducted, not added. It is deducted from the cost to get cost of production. Okay, I hope you have noted the change. Administration overheads were already there in the earlier cost sheet, but it is related to production only. Add quality control cost, research and development cost, primary packing cost, and deduct the credit for scrap, byproduct, miscellaneous income to get the cost of production. Now we will continue with this cost of production. In this cost of production, you will add opening stock of finished goods and deduct closing stock of finished goods as we had done earlier also, and you will get cost of goods sold. So here there is a similarity, cost of goods sold. Now in cost of goods sold, we will add selling overheads, we will add distribution overheads, which we had added earlier also, add selling and distribution overheads. Now add administration overheads. Now which administration overheads? General administration and sales related administration. Means administration activity related to selling, marketing, that cost will be added here, and general administration, like a company is having its corporate office or head office somewhere, which is purely an administrative office. That office has nothing to do with manufacturing activity. So all such general administration and sales related administration overheads are added here, and production related administration was added earlier, if you remember. So add administration over S. Add secondary packing cost. We had discussed few minutes back primary packing and secondary packing. So secondary packing is for convenience of transportation and handling. That cost will be added here. And now you will get cost of sales. And in cost of sales, if you add profit, you will get sales. So this is the revised cost sheet format, right, of ICAI, especially to tackle the questions related to cost sheet. I think we should now move to the second chapter. But what do you feel? I think we will deal with this chapter tomorrow. So today we will better stop here. So we will do eat slowly and digest properly. So I am taking a pause here. Tomorrow we will deal with the material cost topic.